Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
But inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review.
Let's review.
Looks great.
Season 8.
Bum.
Bum. All right, Dragon, why don't you tell us why we're here?
Well, you see, folks, on this little event of ours we do annually, Christmas in July. We usually like to do a pitch. We like to pitch something in relation to usually to a show. Some occasionally a movie. Back when we used to do too was like a show and a movie. We've kind of focused in on a show, and WandaVision, top of this year. It gave us tackled Halloween and teased some other holidays. One of those being Christmas, as kind of pictured here in our little image, and it got us wondering. It definitely captured our imagination of what if we saw like a WandaVision Christmas, given its affinity for the sitcom and
We're getting a
everything.
Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm fully expecting a WandaVision Christmas special.
We pitched the Guardians Christmas special too. I mean, it just shows you how funny the world is. Like eventually they'll do anything now. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm looking forward to it. So
that's honestly one of the most anticipated things on my slate.
So with our previous MCU pitches as well as this, usually we kind of try to fit the parameters of something that could logically fit into the MCU, and in this case, given WandaVision's format, kind of like squashing it down to 30 minutes. Kind of fitting the kind of the sitcom-y format. Anyway, so this year around, something really special happened. We were able to call in an expert who's done not only just some great Marvel work, but even some seasonal Marvel work, technically. The wonderful Chris R. Notarile from Blinky500 Productions. Say hi, Chris.
Hi.
Yeah, we were thrilled to get him in on this, and he gave us some excellent notes and ideas, and he was kind of very much the third in the in kind of the story process here. And I believe, Chris, just to kind of tee things up a little bit, you pitched the spinoff idea, which was really huge for us. We were kind of thinking the '90s route, kind of like Jedi Knight is in the comments here with this Frasier pitch he's laying out, which by the way is awesome.
Yeah, what you're having right now is basically our initial starting point for sure.
Yeah, I seriously, Jedi Knight, I love your Frasier pitch, but we went a different way, which I think at the end of the day kind of felt more like the right story to tell. But yeah, Chris. So this whole White Vision spinoff thing.
It's what is it? Like a white Christmas? It's a White Vision Christmas.
Yeah,
that was the initial title, but ultimately the title of this is going to be "It's a Wonderful Life."
Yeah, once we
a wonderful life.
Yes. A wonderful life.
You got to sound like you're like a wise
guy. Wonderful life. It's a wonderful life.
Hey, you told me you're gonna have a wonderful life. that's nice. It's really nice.
So jumping off the idea that White Vision is going to be our central focus, and it's kind of like Joey with the Friends shows. And okay, so what if we gave a sitcom character?
Not a total trash fire.
Yes, ideally. We'll see. We'll see how good a job we did. So essentially, it's like, okay, so we're kind of post WandaVision, and we're kind of tracking the White Vision story, all kind of the spinoff in question. And I kind of checked the timeline. Roughly, essentially, WandaVision ends roughly in November, so this is like a month later. It's kind of worked in our favor by sheer coincidence.
The timeline worked out stupidly well for us.
Yeah. And as we set up with White Vision, he has the memories, but lacks the Mind Stone. Ergo, he kind of lacks the soul. Or if you want to be all technical, well, there's a Soul Stone. Okay, fine. He lacks the Mind Stone that takes an AI to basically humanity, essentially. So he's kind of lacking. He's kind of lacking the connecting kind of dot there. Anyway, so the operative theme we worked with, and it's kind of graduated a little bit. The operative theme of the whole piece is: can you appreciate love and family without a soul and just data? Just data, just the information, just the memories.
So we're basically trying to do a good version of AI.
Yeah, or
MCU.
or a Marvel version of his Silicon Soul, but whatever.
That's a better comparison.
And again, the thing that Tiki you really liked was the parable for depression around the holidays, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of like the whole idea of like the Christmas specter being an allegory, because I can say firsthand as someone who's been struggling with mental illness pretty much my whole life. Don't want to get into specifics. Obviously, we all have our own cross to bear, but holidays can be either a really good time for me if I'm doing well, or a really bad time for me if I'm not in a good place. So I've kind of been in both different, I've kind of been in both scenarios there. So I really like to me, Dragon. Can we just tee up the kind of the poster image for this piece, because I really feel like it's a good kind of selling point. You know what it is.
Sure. Unfortunately, folks, we can't make everything happen just within our pitch visually, so we're gonna be a little descriptive
I feel like
here.
we
But
could
if
have
we
made
could,
this happen with a little effort.
I mean, it
feel
would.
like
I
we were
don't know.
kind of lazy on this.
I don't know if it would. I take it. No, I worked up a
I
white
have a
vision
laptop
image.
that physically can't run Photoshop. Like Photoshop will crash the laptop. I don't know
We
what
had,
to tell you.
I
I'm just
worked up
kidding.
an alternate. I had an alternate image worked up by our friend Jacob Weil, who basically does the images for A
Mhm.
Christmas in July and a lot of our great kind of thumbnail work. And anyway, so I did work with him to do a white vision thing. Unfortunately, I couldn't do anything with like a light thing. I tried, but it would not. It was too infeasible, at least with the means we have on that front. Regardless, though, kind of our big landmark image. Tiki, tell him about it.
Yeah, so it's essentially White Vision walking through a tunnel, right?
Yeah, he's walking through a light tunnel, which is an actual.
He's walking through like one of those light tunnels at night, in the middle of a park, probably part of like a Christmas village kind of setup. And you see kind of like the green and the red sort of just like reflected in the white. And it's just kind of like all the color kind of coming back into vision. And I don't know, Dragon, like that was the moment for me where I was like, okay, here we go. Like that's a great starting point. That's a great kind of thesis statement to kind of latch onto.
Yeah, it was always just kind of like the standout visual of Vision's kind of pursuing getting essentially the color back of like
But I can just picture it being a dramatic money shot in a trailer.
Yeah. Anyway, before we go into it, I also want to highlight some of our commenters, particularly AJ Zyla. And AJ Zyla, if I recall, and Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, AJ Zyla proposed the powdered toast man concept, right?
Yes, he did. That was.
Oh man! Oh God, you're a star, AJ. God, Chris again. Like props for that powdered toast man thing. It is a riot.
I don't know how the hell it happened, but every now and then on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel, I post like, hey, what should I make next? Post your suggestions below. Don't make it stupid. And he posts powdered toast man, and I was like, you know what? Okay, all right. I like a challenge. I want to exactly see how determined people are, and so he was very determined to get that thing made. So he really contributed and helped out. And at that point, my hands were tied. I'm like, all right, I guess I got to make a powdered toast man movie.
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
Chris, would you like to, before we get any deeper into this, before we kind of break ground on the pitch itself, would you like to kind of like introduce what you do? I mean, obviously you're becoming
to the uninundated.
You become a reoccurring face around these
those
parts,
of you,
but still.
To those of you who have not been indoctrinated into the way of Blinky, I happen to be. I dabble in the realm of making film. In the pseudo sense, for there is no film anymore; everything is digitized. But I take the moniker of filmmaker. And if you're a fan of the fan film genre, specifically Marvel, DC, or just about anything, I have made representations of your favorite things that can be sourced on my channel of the Two Ubes. Quite entertaining. Go to Blinky500 on YouTube.com and just check me out.
Yeah. Okay, so Dragon, any other preamble we need to check out?
I think we're good. Again, just pretty much just in terms of things, he uses White Vision trying to sort himself out around the holidays. It's pretty much the best way I could sum it up, along with the whole the big philosophical question. I think we're good. I think we're all caught up. Again, folks, this is mostly White Vision, but there might be a surprise towards the end, and there's definitely a post-credit scene, so stick around.
Oh, there's definitely a post-credit scene.
Okay, so let's start. I guess let's just break it down. We'll start with the opening, which essentially connects to Act 1.
Okay, so we get a seasonal check-in with White Vision. Let's see. This is is this the money shot right away, or do we kind of build to that?
No, we build to the money shot in Act 2, so we're not right there. Basically, we have this is like a little montage. We open things up.
It's kind of like it's kind of like a Christmas specter, kind of like wandering around, right? And then
exactly.
kind of like. and then we kind of have like the memories kind of just flashing.
Yeah, so essentially, Chris kind of helps spice this up a little bit. So essentially, what happens here is, we're having this montage where it's set to Christmas Old Lang Syne, which is sang by Bobby Darin. It's all about memory, kind of underscoring this opening montage. All like let all things be forgotten, all that sort of jazz. So basically, you have like this ghostly character, kind of going to these past shared locations in the Marvel universe. That he has been with Wanda during these times. Like we're seeing it through either security camera footage that he's hacking into, or just Vision's memories that he's now regained thanks to the Hex Vision from the finale of WandaVision. So, like for example, to speed through, it's like you have like he goes to Sokovia and he's thinking, oh, it's where I saved Wanda for the first time, and now it's a monument. It's the Sokovian monument. Goes to Germany and we reflect to the intimate moment from Civil War when he's cradling Wanda on the ground. You go to Edinburgh, Scotland, where it's like the conversation, like we should run away together. We never should have gotten out of bed, like pre-impalement, that whole thing, and basically culminates in kind of our main set piece, which is he's kind of like a ghostly visage going to these places, like reflecting, and he ends up in upstate New York, which is where Avengers Campus was. Because now it's destroyed, it's in shambles, and like construction crews are trying to do something with it. Probably trying to turn into a Disney theme
park. Kind of like continues the theme of like kind of like the aftermath of stuff, kind of like the daily grind after the battle's over.
Yeah, and like perhaps just like a little added bonus here, somehow tapping the footage. I don't know, maybe it's through Pepper's armor or something during that fight. We have just a little bit of footage to educate White Vision, because White Vision's caught up on everything that Vision saw. Now, this is something that he did not see, which hence where the security camera footage would come in. The whole you took everything from me moment from Endgame. Well, she says the thing, you took everything. I don't even know who you are.
You will.
Yeah, like basically a little bit of that too. Just again, just
I
the
feel
idea
like that was our big kind of like, like we all liked Wanda before that, but that was like our big kind of like, oh, okay, here we go. That like that's exactly what we were wanting from that character.
One of the great moments. So, so for sure, again, the idea is that White Vision, he keeps going to these places because he's drawn to Wanda. He doesn't get why. It's just something. There's like a pattern he just can't like deep down. There's like a humanity there just kind of drawing him to this, but he just can't logically process it because it just doesn't make much sense to him. He doesn't get the feeling that he's having. Or if he's even having feelings, it's just memory.
Yeah. Again, it's just kind of like the whole special kind of has just sort of like a meditative tone to it, while also we're gonna have our funny parts, we're gonna have our comic relief characters, to be sure. This is a Marvel property after all, don't you worry. But I do think that this is going to be a little bit outside of the norm of usual MCU stuff, don't you, Dragon? Just as far as it's going to be like a very meditative sort of atmosphere.
Yeah, which again is kind of like what we do with kind of these between siesta kind of pitches, around the holidays, where again we don't like to write like, here's what's going to happen next with White. He's going to meet Wanda, and they're going to meet Doctor Strange. You're going to go like, we don't know what that happens.
Right.
Happens. We don't want to step on Multiverse of Madness's toes. Who are we to do that? But the interesting question, Jedi Knight poses something that we did consider in the process here, where Jedi Knight says, would Vision go to Wakanda? Here's the thing. So if White Vision goes to Wakanda, then we have no special, and he'll get fixed. Because sure, he's going to fix him up.
Yeah, exactly.
So then again, it's like I think it's like a month. Again, it's close to New Jersey. It's a month. Roughly.
Yeah, he's like slowly starting to broaden the scope of his search. It's I feel like that's a realistic place for him to get to if he's really combing through the area.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of noticed this just kind of by coincidence in the arrangement of things, that there is kind of a straight line he kind of goes into, or at least not a straight. He basically goes in a linear fashion as he goes through upstate New York through the special.
He does, yeah.
So we kind of lucked out there in terms of just the arrangement of things. I double checked
it with a lot of stuff in terms of the upstate New York stuff, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so anyway, so now it's like that's our opening. Our opening is kind of very visual and very just kind of like, okay, we're kind of piecing together who this character is, and then we get to Act 1. So again, Act 1 overall, just in terms of our tropage here, which we always love to highlight our tropes, very much kind of an I Love Lucy clip show Christmas. There's going to be some clippage that's being set up in Act 1 here, along with just kind of.
I feel like the clip show is something that WandaVision didn't really explore, so. It's another kind of like TV trope, if you will, that we can kind of dabble our toes into.
Yeah. So, Tiki, why don't you start us off here with Act One? Now we've had our kind of our cool whammo blammo opening.
Okay, let's see. So we meet up with Darcy Lewis and Jimmy Woo, and they are looking for White Vision. They have no agenda. They just want to help. They kind of basically they realize that White Vision is out there, and that he's just kind of like, they just kind of, again, it's like they sort of feel the humanity of the lost specter on Christmas time. They are kind of just going out of their way to help out just for the goodwill of it all. And also because I assume, Dragon, another reason is it's kind of like maybe like we could have some Iron Giant style tension of we don't want Ross to get his hands on White Vision.
I mean, sure. I mean, it's a little amorphous, like who's calling the shots now, because we got like Haywood's been jailed and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, yeah, it's just the fact that everyone else is gonna have an agenda with the Vision, but Jimmy Woo and Darcy,
yeah.
Like the logic I had is that Darcy, because she had a little bit of a bond going with the real Vision, so I'm figuring she caught wind of okay, they know about the White Vision. Jimmy Woo especially knows about the White Vision. They uncovered all that sort of stuff. So basically, Darcy's trying to help Vision, trying to set him straight and everything. And Jimmy Woo is Jimmy Woo's going out of his way to help her. Like I assume. I forget what promotion he got. I assume he's still with the FBI. I don't think they put him in charge of SWORD if he's an FBI guy. So
I don't think he's in charge of SWORD.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they put him as like the interim guy while Hayward's in jail.
Yeah.
So I doubt they did that for him. So the point being, Jimmy was helping out a friend here. So yeah, so like they're speculating what the heck Vision's doing. We keep pinging him all over going left and right and all over the place, and this kind of leads into like a little holiday chat as they search, a little kind of human kind of conversation around the holidays here, and something your idea, Tiki. Darcy Lewis, Kat Dennings, Jewish. She celebrates Hanukkah.
Yeah, Kat Dennings is Jewish, and I think it's fair to say that the Darcy Lewis character can also be Jewish. And, in Dragon, we do like to be multicultural around these parts. We like to throw in at least one, like, non-Christmas special, or at least one, at least some non-Christmas characters, some Jewish representation. So I feel like Darcy is a good way to do it. So we just have this adorable moment where Jimmy gives Darcy a very humble Hanukkah present. I don't know, maybe like, what do you think, Dragon? Like some chapstick or something? I don't know.
Well, no, like coffee beans. I imagine he gave her she's always talking about coffee and everything. Like
that's good. That's way better.
I gave her some fancy coffee beans or something.
Okay.
And Jimmy, the idea, he loves the trappings of Christmas, the commercialism, if you will. He's wearing a Christmas sweater and everything, not in a negative sense, like, oh, he's so commercial. Like, no, he has like a genuine.
He's into it, like in the genuine, like he loves the whole, the goodwill and be good to your fellow man and that kind of stuff.
It absolutely fits for the way Randall Park plays that character.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Okay, so anyway, So traveling away from the Avengers campus remains, which I think specifically is, I'm going to butcher, like Escopus, New York, if I'm saying that right. So that's where the campus is, or at least that's where they shot the campus, or at least intended for it to look like they shot the Avengers campus. By the way, Chris, if you have any feedback, by all means, tell us too.
Oh, I'm just listening.
I want to make sure. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. So White Vision. So he's so basically, as he's kind of like floating away, or he's kind of like making his way back, so he ends up at the Avengers campus. It's not there. He's just kind of floating away in kind of that area, and he's taking a beat to review on like the screen within it. Like it's one of those POV shots where it's like the screen inside of his mind, basically kind of homaging the opening of Age of Ultron. Well, sorry, not the opening, but the when Ultron wakes up. Mm-hmm. And he sees he has that chat with Jarvis. So it's kind of like that in terms of perspective, where you have like all the information being flung at you, as basically Ultron catches up on like two phases of the MCU in less than 1 minute, that sort of stuff.
Right.
So basically, White Vision's reviewing on his screens in the mind's eye. Basically, a little recap.
This is a little bit of a Loki kind of moment, right? Where it's just like we're basically like seeing like his life and death.
Yeah, so basically, just kind of it's a quick little recap, all of the kind of the Ultron speed of it all. But like we have like a little sampling of little Jarvis sass from the first Iron Man movie, a little bit of the debate with Ultron at the end, like, they're doomed, right? And that whole thing, and they are unbearably naive. We're kind of getting that in there from the end of Ultron. Basically, I really wanted James Spader to return in WandaVision. He didn't, and Chris talked me out of like just jamming Ultron in there just because I wanted to see him, and it was a great call.
It's a good call for sure, but by the same token, I feel like we made a good kind of happy medium where I feel like this does kind of like give some more credence to Ultron as a villain and as a presence in the MCU. Like, he doesn't show up, but he kind of like, again, with the ghostly Christmas specters of it all, kind of a running theme for this. Like, the ghost of Ultron kind of radiates over the special, and kind of like the the AI becoming human and that sort of side of things.
Yeah, and again, Ultron very much is the connecting thread between these two crazy kids, obviously, and they're both very, very linked together because of Ultron. Anyways,
I feel having Vision reciting a couple of Ultron quotes would probably be the way to go. That way, it's still in there, but it's just not James Spader. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a good call, though. And again, we worked actually one of those in later. I did work in the Ultron quote you pitched, so that'll be there later. So,
okay.
Anyways, as you said, again, we recap, kind of his death and him being brought back online in that post-credit scene where we see White Vision for the first time, but only here's the thing, we see it from his POV, that we see him looking at his hand from down there, to kind of spice it up a little bit. Then the whole, like, I am the true Vision realization and all that sort of stuff. Then he pulls up sword files. This is basically, again, is the crux. This is my attempt to transition us into Act 2 a little more smoothly. So, as after our recap, basically, he hacks into the sword files and pulls it up on his screen there, and he fixates on the bond of Wanda and Vision. Like, he pulls up a scene from the sitcom, from the black and white sitcom of episodes 1 and 2. To maybe a little bit of the the 70s shenanigans as well. So he's like pull up a few episode clips from WandaVision itself, and then looking at the final moments with them from the finale when they're all fighting together as a family. So he's getting a picture of the family and everything too.
Yeah.
So he's asking himself, like, what am I missing? It'd be a little more flowery and kind of like Emmy nominee Paul Bettany-ish, but it's like what am I missing here? So he sees the glow of red Christmas lights in the distance. Of course, red to be a little bit indicative of Wanda, and it's kind of like off to the horizon, and it kind of draws him near, which then brings us to Act 2.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, so let's see. So Act 2, we have. Let's see. So Vision is we're in upstate New York, right? We start in Birmingham.
Well, not Binghamton. Sorry, Binghamton. You got me saying Birmingham. No, it's Binghamton.
Okay, I'm sorry. We already went over this. Dragon. I'm sorry. Binghamton is just like a weird ass name.
I know. Every time I type it down, it tries to autocorrect it. I know it's a weird name. Don't tell me it's wrong.
Right.
Get your shit together, guys. We're live.
Okay. It's all good. It's all good. We got it. Our audience is used to a little banter with us. But
AJ asked a question though. He says, "Does Darcy have powers as a result of the hex?" I mean, so far no.
Yeah, well, I feel like that could be explored in future stuff. I don't really feel like we want to kind of dabble our toes into it quite yet.
That's for Feige to sweat when he does the mutants. So anyway, so Act 2 is a little bit more in terms of our reference points. A little bit like another big inspiration for the episode was the oddly some DC influence with the whole Silicon Soul and Comfort and Joy from Justice League Season 2, the Martian Manhunter.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a big influence for sure.
Yeah, and basically that's kind of, once we had White Vision nailed down, it's like, yeah, if we do White Vision, it would be very much kind of Comfort and Joy. We kind of have your outsider who's very much from another planet and respect, kind of basking in the Christmas traditions, only we couldn't recycle the same Christmas traditions. So we then went another very TV seasonal thing where it's like, hey, it's a Hallmark, it's like a Hallmark Christmas story. Every time they do a Hallmark TV movie, you're basking in the small town of it all and then basking like the traditions of your location, which in this case, upstate New York. So so we start in Binghamton, and so again, mark the tropes on the bingo cards, kids. So
oh god, okay.
We have the kind of the local traditions, which are based in real traditions, where they do this thing called a Victorian stroll in Binghamton, where everyone dresses up.
I love this, Dragon. This is just so charming, and I'm so glad that you discovered it. I want to give all the props in the world to Dragon for doing his research on upstate New York holiday activities. He really pulled out the stops to get some good stuff in.
It's an achievement because I knew nothing about upstate New
No,
York.
I was genuinely impressed by the research, Dragon. Honestly.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Christmas cosplay sort of thing, like Victorian
Uh-huh.
olden days. Like basically, that's kind of the excuse of like, yeah, it's a buy, but still, it's like so. It's like that's how Vision's not attracting so much attention, but just the right amount of attention.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like,
I feel like we could write it off by someone saying like, "Oh man, that's a killer Ghost of Christmas Past costume."
yeah, exactly. They're just like
Yeah.
complimenting like on like he's a guy in a costume.
Or like maybe like some hipsters like, "Oh wow, killer steampunk Ghost of Christmas Future, bro."
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So he's making his way there, and you have like around kind of Binghamton. He's like seeing a couple ice skating, and he gives it a try, and he kind of forms some skates on his feet using his powers. He materializes them.
I like that, Dragon. That's a fun little detail. Just the skates just forming. It's like, of course, why wouldn't they?
So then we have an idea where originally I was going to do this as one scene at the end of Act Two, but I figured perhaps we could kind of basically lean into it's all memory now, where we have flashes to basically one of the big standout scenes from WandaVision was the Malcolm in the Middle scene with Wanda and Vision right after Age of Ultron when they're really connecting for the first time, and we get the iconic line, what is grief if not love persevering?
Yeah. And again, we're kind of like exploring the clip show element of it all while kind of having the clip show itself be, kind of more in the background.
Yeah, and also kind of like legitimizing the clip show.
Right, exactly. Like the clip show is kind of like worked into the fabric of the narrative.
Yeah, so we start with Expo in Act One, and now we kind of move a little bit like tonal Expo. It kind of gets you like you're caught up, and you're also kind of getting the feeling of the character. Now we're getting into the emotions creeping in there with the clips. So in this case, so he's flashing to. I gave it like a little bit more, a little sparing, but a little spread out. So while he's ice skating, he has like a quick flash to he and Wanda trying ice skating together.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, he's basically floating, and she's like skating. Like, come on, Biz, you gotta like put the skates on.
I love this whole thing. I don't know. Like Wanda and Vision's interactions in WandaVision were just so adorable, and I could just totally picture this.
All right, so let's see. So then we go to Syracuse. Now we're in the Syracuse part of upstate New York, where Vision is exploring. This is a really cool thing. They have a gingerbread gallery, so we're getting the gingerbread.
Yeah, this was one of your best pulls, Dragon.
So basically, there's this whole like it's like imagine like a train garden or like a little model museum around the holidays, but it's basically of gingerbread houses and everything. And at the end of it, you can actually make gingerbread houses or buy gingerbread stuff and eat it, and make it and eat it.
When I heard about that was just like that blew my mind. I want to go there. It's like that's like the exact same kind of like Christmas kitsch that I love.
So he's looking at the gingerbread gallery, and I'm really proud of this part here. So we flash to Wanda using her powers, kind of like she made breakfast and everything in the first episode, to make a gingerbread house with Vision. And the little detail is the gingerbread house looks exactly like the Westview house.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if we wanted to have a cameo, we don't need this, but if we wanted to work in like a MCU cameo, that would make sense to be there. Happy Hogan, he would like sample the like some of the batter or something from the gingerbread house.
Why not?
Try to eat
Why
it.
not?
It's just kind of be there because again, they're under the same roof at that time.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. So Vision, then we get the money shot Tiki teed up earlier here, where Vision's walking through a light tunnel, and then this is like a thing. It's like either in Saratoga, which they have like this capital city lights in the park thing, or like lights on the lake if you want to go to a different location. The point being, going through like a tunnel of lights, which include a lot of red and green for our purposes, which would basically you create a red and green pattern on our white Vision, basically kind of the shadow of what he wants to be or what his answer is that he doesn't know he's asking.
Again, I love that visual metaphor, man. It's so trailer worthy in my mind.
Big tree and light displays and all that sort of stuff on like outside or like within the tunnel. You kind of can see through it. It's kind of the whole visual gimmick there. And then we flash to kind of our little sitcom pull here. So we flash to the couple watching Home Improvement by the fire.
We spent a lot of time coming up with exactly what show we wanted them to watch, Dragon.
And of course, why Home Improvement? Simply for the reason. So Home Improvement, they had a holiday episode every season. They really loved it. The running gag through all of them was Tim Taylor, who's always about more power, and everything. He always got into this extremely competitive lighting contest where he would just like put billions upon billions of lights. I'm talking Clark Griswold level of lights on his house, competing with, I believe, I think it's Doc Johnson. I believe the proctologist from up the street.
Oh, God.
Always competing with them. So anyways, the idea is like, it's like a lighting contest clip from one of the 8 specials that they did.
And I just like the idea of having a Toy Story alumni in there too.
Of course. I mean, I'm a sucker for Tim Allen, getting him in there, especially being kind of, again, I love Cranston. We got him in there during a really heartfelt moment. We kind of did it here with Tim Allen. I dig that. And, like Wanda's laughing and Vision, it's a little lost on Vision about these lighting shenanigans, and Wanda's laughing, but Vision's content. It's like, oh, well, it makes her happy. Yeah, sure. It's cute. So then this is where we get into Mr. Notarilli's, a huge contribution that kind of fits into a bit of research I had handy here, where so Vision is intrigued by this It's a Wonderful Life museum that is in Seneca Falls.
Okay, yeah. When I heard about this, I kind of geeked out, and it was like a major light bulb moment.
Yeah. So it's like this little, like, one floor, like one story, museum, real humble, but it has like all the sorts of, like, clippings and pictures and everything on the inside and stuff from the movie. And the idea being Seneca Falls, they've always held true to the fact that Seneca Falls was the inspiration for Bedford Falls from It's a Wonderful Life. And so it's like, not the idea, it's not populated, it's kind of a slow night at the museum this day. So there's a tour guide on the inside. He's been kind of waiting just for someone to come in and ask him stuff, which, everyone knows It's a Wonderful Life. There aren't really that much questions or use for a tour guide, at least for the purpose of our special. So White Vision's going there. He has no idea the significance of what is this movie and why is there a museum dedicated to it?
And the tour guide is like, oh my God, I get to talk. I get to explain stuff to someone who wants to listen to me. And this is kind of a real world thing for me, because I worked at the Walt Disney Family Museum for about 18 months. And whenever someone actually approached me with a question, it was like a real thrill. I was like, ha, my lifetime of Disney knowledge is finally paying off. But so Dragon, who is this mystery man? It's not Ben Stiller at night at the museum. Who is it?
It's the wonderful Kevin Smith. We got Kevin Smith in here, who's always aching to do a cameo.
I'm really happy about this. And of course, we got Kevin Smith in last year for The Mandalorian. I feel like Kevin Smith should be our John Ratzenberger, Dragon.
I mean, I'm down for it. And you know what? I mean, right now there's talk, and I hope this talk is true. There's been talk of, like, Deadpool kind of coming in as kind of the fill-in for the Stan Lee cameo, which, I mean, I love that. I don't know if they're going to do it. But, again, second to Deadpool, though, I mean, Kevin Smith, absolutely, he had a very close relationship with Stan Lee, and many, I don't mean this just like you're trying to connect things, hammer over the head, but I mean, it was just kind of an honest realization that the man has, that, he kind of was the son Stan Lee never had, and it would be a really nice passing of the torch. So, working Kevin Smith into a Marvel movie, I think is great. Any which way we can do it. In this case, on the small screen, seems very, very achievable. So, Kevin Smith's our tour guide, getting real chatty about a movie, waxing poetic as he is wont to do. Basically, he summarizes the significance of the film to White Vision, the whole, like, one person really makes a difference, altering realities and the importance of family, all things that kind of parallel things that we've seen in WandaVision. So now, enlightened by Kevin Smith, or Kevin Smith tour guide, Vision, he's a White Vision. He's outside. He's alone. He sees these families and couples just kind of basking in kind of the wintry glow, and like they're drinking. You have like a couple drinking like some hot cocoa together. Kind of stuff like a real kind of night before Christmas stuff. I don't mean like that. I mean with a K, folks, at the Netflix night.
Oh
before.
Yeah, you have to clarify that, Dragon. Yeah. Explain that one for the folks who don't know about it.
Yeah, there's this. It's kind of obscure. It's kind of like a Hallmark movie on Netflix, but it's real
genuinely one of my favorite, like, sort of crappy holiday movies. Like, It's charmingly mediocre.
It's pretty much
Dragon.
Kate and Leopold around the holidays.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
got charm for me. Regardless, like they have like a whole village kind of set up with hot cocoa and everything. The point being is, we're drinking hot cocoa. Vision, he ponders.
They pretty much rip off the Thor gag with mead instead of hot chocolate.
Yep, another. So Vision ponders. If he's kind of pondering, it's so weird. Vision doesn't say a lot until the third act of our special. Really, that's kind of the interesting kind of thing we discovered in kind of the process of this, because Act 2 is just really, it's very visual and very reflective. It's kind of looking back.
So I think it totally works, though. And honestly, I feel like since the MCU is generally very dialogue heavy, I feel like it'd be a bold direction to go in.
And it was kind of a change that came about because, again, Act 2, originally, we were going to have, like, Ultron and Jarvis as, like, an angel devil, which we retrofitted.
I'm glad we cut that. I like that idea in theory as, like, a first draft, but I really think it would have kind of distracted from the point.
Yeah, and we found a way of doing, as Chris knows this already, we found a way of doing kind of an angel devil a lot better, let's say. But that'll be coming up in a few seconds. Uh-huh. So... Well, I mean, so Vision's he's kind of pondering if he could have this based on like kind of the visual reminders we just had, and then we have like a kind of a clip that kind of takes us to our low of lows of Act 2 here, where Vision, he's thinking, maybe I want that, but then he recalls the fight, the last encounter he had physically with Wanda Maximoff from the finale, which was he basically grabs her by the head and is like, "Oh, Vision, you're back!" And they said you were powerful. He tries to crush her head, and it's all so scary. So basically, there's like a twinge of regret after that quick cut, and just now he's in a kind of a quandary of how to proceed. And like, do I reconnect with Wanda? Can I even possibly do that after I tried to crush her head?
Right.
So then that brings us to Act 3, which again is all Notarile magic as far as I'm concerned. We did the coda at the end, but it's pretty much all Notarile magic here. So, Act 3, Vision visits a bridge, which is basically him mimicking the photos that he saw in the It's a Wonderful Life Museum. Just kind of like, it's all snowfall and everything, too, to kind of set the ambiance. He is unnoticed, almost like that scene from the Fantastic Four with Ben Grimm on the bridge.
Yeah, except, like, again, Dragon, I hate to be repetitive here, but I love all the imagery, all the... kind of like the lonely Christmas specter. I feel like we really kind of nailed that here.
Yeah, so he's like the lonely kind of specter, almost blending into the snow as he is unnoticed by a desperate man who's basically about to commit suicide. Now, yeah, so Chris, I will say this, though. We did change it to a man to go for the George Bailey parallels, though.
Okay, good.
Wait, who do we have before?
I'm saying before it was I believe Chris pitched like a girl on the bridge about do.
Well, I had a couple ideas. I said you could do one of two things. One, you can have it be some random individual, because bartender syndrome. It's very easy to disclose information about yourself to a stranger, and then walk away with no strings attached. Or should it have it be something more personal? So we can lead into that one.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we just kind of have it be. We kind of went the rando direction, where it's kind of it's a desperate man played by either Nestor Carbon. I think we're leaning towards Nestor Carbonell, but there's either Nestor Carbonell or Timothy O'Munson, two actors we like.
Absolutely. I mean, I love O'Munson, but I think Nestor Carbonell has much more of the energy needed for this.
No, I agree too. I mean, I'd probably lean towards. I'm just wanting to show another direction we could have gone, but the Carbonell's, I'd say he's the final kind of guy we go with. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So Carbonell basically is like this man's about to jump. He says, "Oh my God, there's a freaking ghost here! Oh God!" so he's a little startled there, and Vision basically stops the man from committing suicide on the bridge. Not exactly with kind of the Clarence flourish, let's say. He he does it with kind of logic and questions. Like, he's not trying to save him. He's just basically curious as to, why do you want to kill yourself, and why would you choose this manner of doing so?
Right.
And they basically kind of just kind of stopping in the heat of like the emotion of it all. And I also went to Nestor Carbonell too. Perhaps it's like a family man. The idea being and kind of connecting the themes. There's not something. I don't know how much of this would be revealed in conversation, but I don't know. Maybe it's just no extra little detail there for you. He's a family man. He was about to kill himself, but White Vision kind of saved him, incidentally.
Maybe lost his job around the holidays.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so after this moment, the point being, kind of saves the guy, and again, maybe it's a little hint of like, White Vision could be a hero. He's not there yet, but he has the potential. Mm-hmm. So then Darcy and Jimmy catch up to him, and they ask if they can help. Like, basically against the whole thing from the beginning we were teeing up, where they're looking. Oh, we finally found you. Are you okay? We haven't seen you since the Hex. You've been pinging all over the place, man. Or is everything okay? And basically, White Vision voices his dilemma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's essentially speaking to to how he feels. He's going around to these locations. He's trying to reconnect with his past, but he's kind of just feeling numb. It's kind of like he knows there's significance, but he doesn't really know what the significance is.
Yeah, he's like essentially voicing that, he's the original and now only remaining Vision who retains all the memories, but he feels like a weapon who's been turned into a tribute.
Mm-hmm.
And he feels nothing. He has no idea why he's going from place to place here. So then we have again the angel perspective from our angel and devil's advocate, if you will. We have Darcy, who's suggesting maybe it's love, love for Wanda, and that the WandaVision of it all. WandaVision was all about the love that the two of you shared, and maybe you should seek her out, huh? And we have Jimmy Woo. So Jimmy Woo playing devil's advocate here. I like to think Randall Park would kind of channel like an amazingly profound counterpoint to what everyone's expecting. I think everyone's expecting Jimmy Woo because of the earlier thing. He's all seasonal and jolly and everything, but
right, like he wants to be the one to get everyone together. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of went a different way with it here, and again, I want to credit Notarile here for just the pitch of Jimmy Woo being the devil's advocate, because I never would have thought of that. So basically, the way we've kind of spun it here is I think he speaks as a man who probably knows loneliness around the holidays, particularly.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I recall Jimmy Woo, I know he doesn't have any kids. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a wife. So it's basically he would point out, it won't be easy any way to slice it for Wanda to accept him, given her loss. Basically it's the idea like, hey, you lost someone you care about. Here's a reminder, but he's very aware that he's not the same Vision.
I mean, it really is an interesting kind of philosophical quandary that we find ourselves in.
And that's the thing. I want to be clear. Like, Jimmy's not being malicious here at all.
No, absolutely not. No, if anything, he's, Jimmy got some time to bond with Wanda a little bit, so he's kind of looking out for both of them,
Yeah. It's the whole thing where he's, I don't know if this may be too much or not, but just to get it in there, like, I had an analogy that Jimmy might have to kind of help facilitate things, where maybe Jimmy had basically a parent who passed away as a kid, and then a step parent stepped in and basically acknowledging not that he's like down the step parent, but that it's just not the same. It was not the same.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, so as the two kind of debate, like something cutesy, like not an aggressive argument. It's like, Jimmy, what are you doing? I'm trying to help him here. We're literally trying to talk him off the ledge, off the bridge here. What are you doing? So as the two are kind of squabbling, well, Darcy needs to know these things. I'm not, I like a holly Christmas much as the next.
The more we talk about it, the more it kind of feels like the Big Bird scene from the other thing we talked about recently.
Oh God, yeah, the Christmas Eve on Sesame Street episode we've done, which will be up soon. Yeah,
it's weirdly kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Anyway, so then we have Vision has come to a decision. So basically, he kind of breaks the tension there. He kind of he's the floaty guy out of the three here. He's like, okay, so now we're learning he's moving. Like, oh, Vision, what are you doing? So he's evaluated the argument and the logical conclusion that I've evaluated the argument. The logical conclusion is that it's not my choice. It's Wanda's. And the idea that Vision has always been a shared experience. It's been a combination of Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Ultron, Jarvis. That Vision as a concept is always like he's a shared vision. It's all sort of things combined. And the data suggests the most frequent and important experiences were Wanda Maximoff, given basically everything we've seen up to this point, all the memory flashes and all. Like, he's been drawn to these locations. That was Wanda's important. That much he does know empirically. He acknowledges, approaching her at this point very logically would be disastrous given the last encounter, and now like she's a Nexus being, so that would end disastrously if he just shows up. That's the guy who tried to crush my head.
Right, exactly, yeah.
It's like throw all sorts of red magic at him, all hexes and witchy stuff would not go well. He's like, why would I do that? That'd be
exactly.
Well for anyone. It upset her. It might. I don't know if it'd kill me, but it wouldn't tickle.
I like that we're just kind of like calling out like what would have been like traditionally the cliche kind of like showing up at the woman's doorstep, with the boombox.
Yeah, which originally was we were almost going to go that. Well, something.
I mean, not really. We didn't have the boom box.
No,
per
we
se,
didn't have
but-
I'm just saying him showing up, and all we were teeing up like people would be expecting. Oh, he's going to do the boombox.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, he then comes to the decision, and again, I attribute this to Notarile kind of like calling out like the logical thing here, where it's like, yeah, well, this is the way it should go, where he acknowledges, she can seek me out anytime she wishes. She's a Nexus being. She'll seek me out when she's ready. Maybe by then I'll have something to say. Maybe Ultron was right. What if I am unbearably naive? Just like, I love his like little kind of resuscitation to himself.
That's a great callback, by the way. I really like that callback.
Yeah. So before he flies off, a little bit there where he thanks Darcy and Jimmy for seeking him out and basically getting to think about this matter. Basically, they kind of solved this problem, his quandary. Like he came to an answer thanks to these two, and he wishes them a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. I love the idea. He probably pulled up Darcy's father knows.
Yeah.
Everything. It's just really, it's just like, oh, Merry Christmas, Vision.
We have this kind of like runner that Darcy is like very charmed every time someone wishes her a Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. So then we have the ending here. So the ending is in. We took White Vision out of our ending. Because originally it was going to be like, it's kind of like, does it get on the plane for a Friends equivalency here? But again, Vision can, as Notarile pointed out to me very, very smartly, it's like, well, yeah, if he knows the outcome, or he knows he's not going to go in, which we wouldn't have had him go in. We don't, why we gild the lily like that? Why would we do that?
Right, yeah.
So what I do want, though, so we have like a bittersweet ending, but I wanted to put a little bit more sugar on it. So what we have, though, is kind of a hopeful note. So the last moments of the episode, we get a little bit of Wanda in there. Otherwise, we can't call it WandaVision. We got to call it White Vision entirely.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's like, I feel like we did a good job of setting the stage with all the Vision stuff, but Wanda is, she is pretty much... Honestly, Dragon, I feel like the reason we had Wanda on the bench is just because God knows what the status quo of her is going to be the next time we see her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, so many bets. Like, is she going to go villain? Is she just going to be
right?
The ally?
Right. So that's why I feel like we just kind of, generally speaking, sort of rode around her.
So yeah, we save her for the very end. Essentially, it's like the final beat. So basically, Wanda she's in the Wonder cabin, which now has trees thanks to Disney Plus. But the Wonder cabin.
Oh God!
She's making herself some hot cocoa, and she's White Christmas is playing on the little TV in the cabin, and she's feeling.
White Christmas is just an absolute requirement to be playing at some point during the special. Come on,
absolutely. She's feeling a little down. She conjures up. She's feeling down alone, given the family she had like a month ago, which again is a really big transition for her. She conjures using her hex magic a little clip on the screen with her magic, which essentially is sort of again, it feeds into our visual image here, folks, where basically we explain the Santa Claus picture, where it's a little behind the scenes clip of Vision taking the Christmas card photo with the babies from episode 5, a very special episode from WandaVision. So it's like the little moment before the snapshot's taken. Like Wanda's mothering the twins adorably, and like, oh baby, like hold still, like, well, it's Daddy. Look, he just has a beard, but it's Daddy, and or something like that. Anyway, so Agatha is taking the picture. So Agnes
got to get some Catherine Hahn in there.
I figure like the cutesy kind of nosy neighbor gag, or like the '80s gag that we give her.
Maybe
in this
she's
case,
like being overly picky about how the baby looks.
Well, sure. I was thinking something along the lines of when Wanda. I mean, you can have that. I was saying after the picture's taken, Wanda kisses Vision, and she makes like oh boys, it looks like mommy's kissing Santa Claus.
Okay, I like that. That's much better. Yeah. Okay. You guys are gonna need some extra mistletoe tonight.
Yeah, and she maybe conjures a little bit of mistletoe kind of Santa Claus style too. Yeah. It's like in the bit, just like a little, yeah. So. Anyway, so Wanda, she sheds a happy tear, just reminding herself of what she's been searching this book for like crazy. So now determined, she goes back to sifting through that dark hole and practicing her spells. And then now that she's taken the hex off the TV to do that, the TV plays White Christmas. Then the namesake song plays, which plays over our WandaVision credits. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Bring out the Crosby, yeah. And then we have our post-credit scene.
Yes. So meanwhile,
this is what WandaVision should have done.
Yeah, pretty much.
We have a Doctor Strange post-credit scene.
Indeed.
Very
Indeed.
small, very humble.
We couldn't
but it's-
resist.
So we have Wong, Doctor Strange, and the Cloak of Levitation celebrating Christmas, kind of like a 3-man party. Like we have like the old, when Thor visited Doctor Strange and Ragnarok, he had like the refilling mead thing, like that whole
right, yeah.
So basically, it'd be like refilling eggnog to Wong's delight, like Wong's pounding the eggnog and just keeps refilling. Like Steven, this is great.
Practical application for this thing.
Yeah. So let's see, Doctor Strange. Basically, he's I think he's going to cut some fruitcake, or maybe,
Sure, why not?
Either that,
I like the idea that Doctor Strange prides himself in his fruitcake. Like he's like, no, guys, look, I know fruitcake gets a bad rap, but you haven't tried fruitcake until you've tried my fruitcake.
Basically, I was hoping to get like a Grinch reference in there. So it's either the fruitcake or cutting some roast beef, given the fact that Benedict Cumberbatch has played the Grinch, which I think is kind of funny, given the Christmas setting. But anyway, point being, fruitcake, roast beef, he's going over to do something seasonal.
Oh.
And then suddenly, on like this mirror that's just kind of there, which technically it's a. I'm pretty sure it's from the comic, but I know it's from the Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. You have the Ancient One suddenly appears in a mirror, basically trapped in a mirror with almost like a Doc Brown warning. Yeah. Stephen Strange, there's a big problem, basically intimating the multiverse kind of problems that are forming. And the cloak like instantly wraps itself around Doctor Strange like it's suiting up for action. And then like Doctor Strange like taking in the revelations. All his seasonal spirit is all deflated, like bah humbug. Just like darn it, there goes my nice Christmas. Now that'll work.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all we got.
Well, I like it.
Really?
I mean, there are some things, that I would change, but that's just me personally. I like it. Good job, guys.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we hit the mark, so that's cool.
By all means, we're open to constructive criticism. That's
what seriously, do you have any? Yeah,
I would love to see a fevered argument between Doctor Strange and Wong over fruitcake, though.
Yes. Oh my god.
I just think that takes the cake.
Oh, Jedi Knight has a great suggestion. He says maybe Doctor Strange has the Chuck Jones Grinch playing in the background. I mean, I like that. I don't know if Doctor Strange has a TV.
I like that. Though. Yeah, I do like that.
Assuming Doctor Strange has a TV, maybe Wong wanted to get a TV or got him a TV for Christmas, and that's playing. That's awesome. I like that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess final. I'm sorry, Chris. I'll say if there's anything else. I mean, just, if you want to tie in like final thoughts. Now you've heard the whole gambit.
I think it works. I still personally don't think we should see Wanda in the story. I think it should be a White Vision Christmas, and in terms of having Wanda show up, just have her show up through.
Chris, the studio gave us notes. I don't know what to tell you. We had
no, but I hear. I hear what exactly.
No,
you're saying,
I'm just
Chris,
being silly. I hear what you're saying.
No, I'm saying, but if you're desperate to have, Elizabeth Olsen involved, show her through flashbacks and possibly unfilmed flashbacks that you would then film, versus having to, get her in there for the sake of the story is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. All right. So, okay, let's see. Tiki, you want his?
Final thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think this is a masterpiece or anything, but I think we cracked out something quite good. Honestly, the thing that I'm most proud of with this is kind of like the local culture of it all. I really feel like we nailed the the upstate New York kind of vibe really well. And I really liked the Kevin Smith moment. I thought that was like, if they actually did something like that, it'd be one of my favorite MCU cameos. And overall, I really like the specter of it all. Just kind of like the ghost haunting Christmas. I think it's a really creative take on something like that. But I don't know. It feels weird for me to compliment my own work. So
It's nothing like self-elating for the holidays.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts from me. I think this really took shape, and in large part, thanks to Chris here. I think it really did help did take shape more than I think we would have gone maybe I don't know if we would have gone a more broader thing because again we would have kind of had like a fork in the road sort of choice there. Do we go with like a '90s basically as Jedi Knight kind of proposed there with the whole Frasier with kind of a Frasier sitcom Christmas, which again Frasier does have some good really good Christmas.
I think if you
episodes.
play up, the elements of winter itself and all the, tropes that we've seen in movies like Home Alone with, using more ghostly style Christmas music, as well as that of, It's a Wonderful Life. I think cinematically that is way better than going into, another sitcom.
Yeah, which again is pretty much ultimately why we kind of I think White Vision probably gave us more kind of emotional material to go with, more of like kind of a character based
Right.
story.
Plus, again, you get the you get that all of that essentially just from him being philosophical about himself, overcritical, and you get some of the comedy because people are seeing him like, what are you like? Are you
Yeah.
cosplaying or something?
And again, it just kind of became the story, and I think it ultimately became the story it needed to be. It's more meditative than again the '90s Lost episode route, and I think we end up making the right choice there. And again, very much in large part thanks to our guest. And much like White Vision himself, I think we worked with our limitations, which are usually what they usually are in terms of trying to fit it within the cracks of the MCU without kind of writing what's going to happen next. With our real estate there, the whole 30-minute thing. I think we timed it out about right, kept it really on point. Sometimes we have an issue of them going a little over long. I think we kept it.
No, honestly, this is. I'm glad you bring this up because this is probably the most. The quickest pitch that we've ever done, which I don't think is to our detriment at all. I feel like this was a nice kind of in and out. We got all we needed to say, So
Yeah, so
I'm really happy with how that turned out as far as the pace goes.
Yeah, it's like basically ultimately we like White Vision. We went on a seasonal journey, and that ends bittersweet but hopeful. That was kind of the whole dichotomy of the whole you have the great White Vision ending, but like just a dash of hope at the end of like just to kind of add the sweet to the bittersweet, I guess.
Right.
It's and like Phase 4 these days with post credit scene, all roads building to Doctor Strange 2. Let's be honest.
Of course. Okay. All right, so Dragon, let's go through some tropes.
Well, we have basically a whole boatload of the kind of like hometown traditions.
Gingerbread houses, Christmas festivals, light tunnels, Christmas lights in general, communities getting into the holiday spirit.
A lot of It's a Wonderful Life and the It's a Wonderful Life Museum.
Of course, a lot of like the Christmas specter as well, like that general idea.
A lot of snow.
Oh yeah, a lot of snow for sure.
Kind of saving someone from jumping off a bridge at Christmas.
Lost love around the holidays.
Yep. Honestly, just like the whole a seasonal kind of like I was thinking like a seasonal flashback structure. I mean, that's kind of been built into things at times.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's and again we've kind of covered the covered the lights and also just our Christmas music too. We had Christmas Auld Lang Syne and White Christmas there. So we have the music. Yeah, it's
also AJ Zyla says we definitely nailed the upstate New York vibe, being an upstate New Yorker myself. So
good. That's a seal of approval
really
I'm looking
that.
for. Thanks. Yeah, it's great. We got it from Notarile. We got it from
honestly,
these are guys who know their stuff.
The upstate New York thing was probably that was sort of the aha moment, was to tie everything to the geography.
There's the question of where the heck do we set this? Where do we put White Vision after WandaVision? That's the real question. After New Jersey, where do we take them?
Yeah.
Because logically, it's like, well, I mean, I'm thinking New York, but we just want to set in the city. Like we've already had some excellent Netflix shows that have been set in New York. I don't know if we can do that again.
Oh God, what if we did this special as like a way to reintroduce the Marvel Netflix stuff?
Oh, don't tempt me.
Right.
But you know what, Tiki? I mean, we'd had such a blast, talking through all these tropes, Tiki, and just going through all these locations. It just feels like we've trudged through so much of upstate New York. I just wish we had like a name for this sort of process. If we just I'm gonna be sitting alone in the snow, just on a bridge. I mean, contemplating life here, contemplating. We've done this for 8 years, and we still don't have a great patented term for this process. It's not like it's above a visual image, like it's looming over my head right now in festive colors. If only it was like kind of like something maybe akin to Nightmare Before Christmas, something kind of scientific, something kind of like empirical, kind of data wise. If only we had something to call this little process. But I've got nothing to give. I'm embarrassing myself in front of the esteemed filmmaker that is Chris.R.
It's an
Notarile.
introspective.
Exactly. I got
All right.
I got no.
Dragon, I'm going to
nothing.
spare your embarrassment, okay? What about putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope?
I like it. That'll work.
All right. Next time on Christmas in July. La 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 la.